Magic Johnson's story began far from the bright lights of Los Angeles. Born Irvin Johnson Jr. in Lansing, Michigan, he grew up in a working-class family where sacrifice was part of everyday life. His father worked exhausting jobs while his mother cleaned classrooms to help support the household. As a child, Irvin sometimes accompanied his father on garbage routes, an experience that exposed him to cruel teasing from other children. They mocked him with names that made him feel ashamed of his family's circumstances, yet those humiliations planted something powerful inside him. He wanted to prove that his worth was greater than the circumstances into which he had been born. Basketball soon became his escape. On the court, nobody could reduce him to poverty. With every shot and every pass, he began imagining another life. Finding his magic basketball became more than entertainment for young Irvin Johnson. It became the language through which he could express everything he could not say. Before school, he practiced relentlessly, pouring frustration, ambition, and hope into every movement. His talent eventually carried him to Michigan State University, where he became one of the most exciting young players in America. In 1979, he faced Indiana State and Larry Bird in an NCAA championship game that became one of the most famous contests in college basketball history. Michigan State won, and Johnson emerged as a national sensation. The boy once mocked for his background was suddenly being celebrated across the country. Yet fame brought a new burden. Expectations grew rapidly, and the world began demanding that Magic always perform, always smile, and always deliver something extraordinary. Showtime begins. The Los Angeles Lakers selected Magic Johnson with the first overall pick in the 1979 NBA draft. Almost immediately, he transformed the team and helped create the legendary Showtime era. Standing nearly 6 feet 9 inches tall, he possessed unusual vision, creativity, and passing ability. His no-look passes and spectacular fast breaks turned ordinary possessions into unforgettable performances. Alongside Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and James Worthy, he helped lead the Lakers to 5 NBA championships. He won 3 regular season MVP awards and became one of basketball's defining figures. But superstardom came with a hidden price. Every game demanded excellence, while interviews and public appearances required the same infectious smile. Fans saw an unstoppable champion. Few saw the exhaustion behind the image. Magic had escaped the poverty and ridicule of his childhood, but he had entered another kind of prison, the expectation that he could never be vulnerable. The price of glory. The greater Magic Johnson became, the heavier his responsibilities seemed to grow. He was no longer simply an athlete. He had become a cultural symbol, a representative of success, ambition, and possibility. Millions admired him, but millions also expected him to remain almost superhuman. Behind the celebrations were demanding schedules, constant travel, physical exhaustion, media scrutiny, and the pressure to maintain an immaculate public image. The smile that once represented freedom gradually became something he was expected to wear everywhere. Even after spectacular victories, there were quiet moments when the superstar was simply tired. Fame had given him wealth, recognition, and influence, but it could not guarantee peace. The same spotlight that elevated him also exposed him constantly. Magic had achieved everything the boy from Lansing dreamed about, yet the emotional cost of becoming an icon was beginning to reveal itself. The shattering news. On November 7, 1991, Magic Johnson stood before reporters in California and delivered news that stunned the world. He announced that he had tested positive for HIV and would retire from the NBA. At the time, public understanding of HIV was filled with fear, misinformation, and devastating stigma. Many people viewed the diagnosis as an immediate death sentence. Suddenly, one of America's most celebrated athletes became associated with a disease society barely understood. The announcement transformed his life overnight. His basketball career, which had appeared destined to continue for years, abruptly stopped. The image of the smiling champion collided with the frightening reality of a serious diagnosis. For Magic, the announcement was not merely a retirement from basketball, it was the beginning of an entirely different battle, one involving uncertainty, public judgment, fear, and the possibility of losing the future he had worked so hard to build. Alone with fear, the emotional impact of the diagnosis was enormous. Magic had spent his entire life fighting to become stronger than adversity, but now he faced something basketball could not defeat. In 1991, HIV carried enormous social stigma, and misinformation made many people afraid of ordinary contact. Some people who had once embraced Magic suddenly became uncomfortable around him. The isolation could be painful. Behind the public speeches and reassuring smile was a man confronting the possibility of death. He thought about his wife, Cookie, his family, and the future he might not live to see. Championships and business success suddenly seemed insignificant compared with the simple desire to remain alive. The boy who once feared being called Garbage Man was now facing a different kind of label. Yet this time, escaping humiliation would require more than athletic achievement. He would have to confront society's fear itself, choosing to fight Magic. Johnson gradually began turning his diagnosis into a reason to live more deliberately rather than surrendering to despair. Medical treatment for HIV was changing, although the therapies available in the early 1990s were far more limited than those available today. Instead of disappearing from public life, Magic chose to remain visible. He became an advocate for HIV awareness and education, helping challenge the idea that the diagnosis represented moral failure or inevitable death. His decision mattered because millions of people were watching. Magic could have retreated into private life, but he understood the influence his platform gave him. The same celebrity that once created enormous pressure could now be used to educate others. His story began changing from one of tragedy to one of resilience. He was no longer simply fighting for his own future. He was helping change the conversation surrounding HIV. The Dream Team. In 1992, Magic Johnson returned to the international basketball stage as part of the legendary United States Olympic team. The roster contained extraordinary talent, including Michael Jordan, Larry Bird, Charles Barkley, and other NBA superstars. Magic's presence carried special meaning because he had only recently announced his HIV diagnosis. Many people wondered whether he could compete again. His participation became symbolic far beyond basketball. When he stepped onto the court, he demonstrated that an HIV diagnosis did not erase a person's humanity, talent, or future. The team dominated the competition and became known as the Dream Team. For Magic, the experience represented something deeply personal. He was showing the world that he could continue living, competing, laughing, and dreaming. The disease had changed his circumstances, but it had not taken away his identity. He was still Magic Johnson, building beyond basketball. After leaving the NBA, Magic refused to allow HIV to become the final chapter of his story. He expanded his business interests and became a highly successful entrepreneur and investor. His influence moved into entertainment, real estate, sports ownership, and community development. Over time, his business empire grew dramatically, transforming him from basketball superstar into a major figure in American business. His involvement with organizations and teams connected to Los Angeles and beyond demonstrated how effectively he could transfer the leadership skills learned on the court into other fields. Yet perhaps his most important contribution was continuing to speak publicly about HIV. His visibility helped challenge stereotypes and encouraged people to take testing, education, and prevention seriously. The boy from Lansing had once wanted to escape poverty. Decades later, he was using his success to create opportunities for others while proving that one diagnosis did not have to define an entire life. A legacy of survival. Magic Johnson's journey ultimately became larger than basketball. He began as a child from Lansing who was mocked because of his family's circumstances, then became an NCAA champion, an NBA superstar, a 5-time champion, an Olympic icon, an entrepreneur, and a global figure. But the most important chapter may have begun when the applause stopped. His HIV diagnosis forced him to confront fear, stigma, uncertainty, and the possibility of death at the height of his fame. Instead of disappearing, he chose to fight publicly and continue living visibly. His story helped millions understand that HIV was not a punishment or an automatic ending. It was a condition that required knowledge, treatment, and compassion. Magic could not erase the pain of 1991, but he could decide what came afterward. The child, once desperate to escape humiliation, ultimately became a symbol of resilience, survival, and possibility.